American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
It is indeed.
All right. So,
He said leadingly, and immediately going nowhere.
I'm just trying to decide where to start with this week.
I know where to start.
Let's go.
Do you like reading news articles on the website Wired?
I haven't done that in a long time.
Oh, so you probably haven't read this one, which is
Accurate.
Sony now has an AI that drives race cars like a pro race car driver.
Okay.
It's fascinating stuff. But there's a paragraph in this article that's really, really fascinating. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
In contrast to board games that AI has mastered, such as chess or Go, Gran Turismo requires continuous judgments and high-speed reflexes. It's far more complex than action games like StarCraft or Dota.
Whoa. What a claim to make, Wired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You hadn't heard about this?
No. Should we write them a strongly reworded letter?
We could, but the kind of people that write a sentence like that don't understand what they're talking about, and I don't think I have the time, patience, or the crayons to explain it to them.
What if we wrote an angry letter to their editor and their boss, who we assume maybe knows what they're talking about, maybe?
I still don't know.
Yeah, that is a risk, I guess.
Yeah, that is.
Whew. Where'd you see that?
Reddit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was on the StarCraft subreddit today. I didn't see it. But yeah, I can understand why that got shared out there for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was actually, I saw it like a week ago because the article's from the 9th. But this morning, there was a clip of Artosis reacting to it, which he just laughed and laughed and laughed. Because what else do you do in the face of such ignorance?
Yes, I agree. Laughing is better than getting super angry.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But still.
Oh, God. Someone got paid to write this. That's
not very much, though.
No, not very much.
No.
You don't think they get paid a lot?
No.
Nope.
So like magazine publishing jobs or like newspaper jobs or online like review type stuff, those jobs do not pay anything anymore. There are just so many people willing to do them for nothing that it's just like, okay, we'll pay you nothing and you'll like it. And they do, I guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's why I got out of the writing business back in 2012. For that very reason.
Fair enough.
Uh-huh. All right. So we still don't have the final player for groups in Katowice?
Nope.
Isn't it starting soon?
Yeah, in like a week and a half.
Okay.
A metric week, maybe.
Yeah, metric week. Okay, fine. We'll give you some more time to figure it out, Katowice.
Yeah, it's one thing that it's got to be starting soon, and they haven't started the round of 36 yet to finalize the group. They still haven't just told us when those games are going to be played.
Right. I was also looking for dates here, and they're just like, nah. It happens when it happens. Leave us alone.
Right, because the main event is supposed to be the 23rd. Yeah, it's the 27th. 23rd. So 4 days. I guess that's when the 36 will start. Then we'll get the bracket on the next, like the groups the next day, and then maybe the first round of the playoffs and the quarterfinals, and then maybe the semis and the finals on the last day. That would be my guess.
Yep, makes sense. What
Yeah.
adds insult to injury here is you go to the 30 round of 36, and there's a button that says show schedule, and you click on it, and
Yep.
everything is to be announced.
Pretty sure I made that joke last week. Yeah.
Yeah, still there. Good times.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out eventually, I suppose.
Yeah, eventually. It'll happen.
I suppose. Went and cast a Rogue versus Stats game from last year's Katowice because I was like, I kind of miss Stats. It's been a while now.
Sure, yeah. He's killing it in military.
Yep. It was good. He's great. He gave Rogue everything he could handle. It was a good game, and I was just like, we need him back. Elite Protoss players are short in supply right now, I feel like.
Yeah, that is true. That is true enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one day they'll let people compete in professional tournaments while they're in military in Korea. That would be good, I feel like.
I don't think there's any interest in changing Korean law to allow that, if I'm going to be honest. Haven't heard anyone ever suggest that. And I can't imagine anyone would.
Anyone would suggest it?
Yeah, I think it mostly doesn't affect anyone. If I've not heard of it affecting anyone, let alone a StarCraft 2 Pro.
Affecting them?
Yeah. Because the law is not like they can't participate in tournaments. It's that they can't earn income while working in the military, right? They can't have any other source of income.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the actual term. Okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense then.
Yep.
Fair enough. Far enough.
Yep.
Yeah, so probably not happening then. Good call.
Probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. What if they said you can earn money doing other stuff while in the military, but we just get like 30% of it? And the military might be incentivized to allow it? I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds like a pyramid scheme where it's like if you go out and you can recruit 10 people and get them jobs and you get a flow of their cut. And it sounds very weird that the military is going out there hiring people to make more money themselves.
I mean, not to make money themselves, but just allowing them to if they want to, and then the military gets a cut.
Right, but the military could just sit there and be like, all right, well, do you want to... I don't know. Hiring people to subsidize their own wages, though, it doesn't make sense.
Well, I just want stats back. That's all.
You just want stats back, but
that's where we're coming from.
I don't think that makes sense. I don't think for most people, I don't see how that's a good idea. It works.
Fair enough.
Maybe it works for StarCraft pros because they do something special. But all the people who it's like, well, I'm going to go serve in the military for 2 years and on the weekends work at Starbucks. I don't know. Seems...
I don't know. It's weird. I'm not saying it's like, oh, that's all the logical everything in the whole world, but...
You don't think that's the most Vulcan approach to it at all?
I just don't think it's impossible. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. In other military news, Russia appears to have backed off the border of Ukraine.
Oh, that's nice.
Stuff's moving fast. Stuff's changing a lot. So, I'm not going to try to extract any, long-term predictions of what's going on here. But, yeah. Last I saw, apparently the Russian troops pulled some of their troops back. And Putin declared victory of the war where nobody was invaded and there were no shots fired. So I guess it's like claiming victory in the Cold War, if you can do such a thing.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. But then Russia reported there was a terrorist attack right on the border of Ukraine where their military was, and it was like, oh, okay, so you have some motivation to go in there now to keep the peace, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then they haven't. So yeah, I have no idea what's going on. It's just we feel like we're somewhat on the brink of World War III here, but not yet, I guess is the idea.
I wonder if maybe Putin and the president of the Ukraine were playing like a game of Risk or whatever, and that's what Putin was celebrating. It's like he won the game but had to back off, and so he was just happy with that.
It could have been lost in translation or just poorly communicated on his end. Absolutely possible there, yeah. 100%. I mean, the whole thing here, at least the way I see it, is the U.S. is not going to do anything unless Russia actively invades Ukraine. They
Okay.
can mass troops on the border, they can posture, they can yell stuff, but until they set foot in Ukraine, the U.S. isn't going to do anything, period.
Okay.
So, but it's not guaranteed they will do something if Russia steps foot into Ukraine, right? I mean, Biden's made some pretty spicy announcements, like, if you go in there, we're going to respond.
Uh-huh.
Like, fast and hard, I think is what he said, right?
Right.
So that's definitely the posturing we're doing. But, like, do we want to get involved in a land war with one of the other few superpowers on the planet Earth right now? Nobody does. Nobody wants to do that. It's just, it drains too much from everybody. So if I'm Russia, I don't know. Do you take that risk? You're just like, let's just do it. We'll just keep preaching this narrative that most Ukrainians want to be Russian anyway, so it's not a huge deal, right? Which is something they've been talking about. And obviously there are Ukrainians who'd rather be Russians because it's a big country, right? Like, there's Australians who wish they were New Zealanders. Like, it's whatever.
No.
No? Nobody wants to be a Kiwi?
I mean, here's the issue there. If an Australian wants to be a Kiwi, just go. Right? We have an open land border policy with them. You can just get on a plane and go live there tomorrow, right?
That's a fair point. So yeah, so then the question is, all right, so Ukrainians living in Ukraine who want to be Russians just move to Russia?
Right.
Question mark? Fair point. I didn't think about that. Anyway, I mean, but then the US is kind of incentivized to be like, okay, yes, it would suck going to war with Russia, but also 1939. Like, Hitler takes Poland, everyone's like, well, sure hope he stops there because we really don't want to go to war with Germany, who has a huge military all of a sudden. And then Hitler kept going, and I was like, crap, we probably should have stepped in when he took Poland.
I mean, America didn't step in when after Hitler took Poland. It wasn't until Pearl Harbor that America was like, fine, you fucked with our boats.
Accurate.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other countries too. England, same story, right? England was like, you can have Poland, I guess.
Yes.
Right. And then they got involved. So yeah, it's very complicated. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's interesting to kind of follow anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I've seen tomorrow be bandied around as like this time that something like Russia's going to make their move. So I guess we'll find out then.
Well, coming from the future where it is tomorrow, nothing happened.
Yep. That's why we keep you around, Somicron, is for your future abilities. Having a spy in the future to tell us what's going on is real nice.
It's very convenient knowing the future. I highly recommend it.
All right. What else is going on? So the Book of Boba Fett finished up their first and possibly only season. And I just got to say, one of the weirder seasons of television in the history of television.
Okay, how come?
Oh, do you have followers only chat turned on still on your Twitch?
No, I don't. I shouldn't.
Okay.
Nope.
Subscribers only? Clark says he can't talk.
Okay, it is followers only. So be a follower.
Oh, okay.
It's not my fault. He's not a follower.
I think that's a fair requirement.
Yep.
Anyway, so two things. I think one, it really feels to me like the runners of the show felt like they were losing the audience about 4 episodes into Book of Boba Fett, which I think they were. I think people were like, what is this show doing? It's unfocused. We don't identify with Boba at all. This is weird. And they were like, okay, we're going to throw in some Mandalorian and Baby Yoda stuff and get the audience back. And it totally worked because everybody loves Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. And they literally had 2 episodes that were just that. And then they were like, okay, time for our series finale. And it had a lot of the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda in that as well. And so what I think happened here is the Mandalorian ended up being what everybody thought Boba was. When people saw Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back and in Return of the Jedi, they're like, okay, he's a badass bounty hunter, right? He's really capable. He's a good fighter. He works on his own terms. And then they decide, for whatever reason, to create a show called The Mandalorian about not Boba Fett, but who does all the things that we thought Boba Fett was going to do.
Okay.
And then they're like, okay, now we're going to do our Boba show, but we can't just make a retread of Mandalorian.
Okay.
But then they tried it anyway, and it didn't work.
I mean, I don't think of Boba Fett as being a character much like the Mandalorian. Right? Like, the Mandalorian's a good guy at his core. Like, yeah, he's a bounty hunter. Maybe he brings in people that, like, parking tickets or whatever, and just couldn't pay their bills on time or whatever.
Cuts a man in half.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying
last time we saw him.
Sure. But he mostly fights the Empire. Right? That's what we see. Like,
well, a lot of it is he kind of gets saddled with this he gets a bounty to get the Baby Yoda and decides not to fulfill the bounty and is trying to keep him safe and, like, get him to a Jedi.
I don't think for a second Boba Fett makes that decision. I think he goes, okay, it's a child, whatever. Right?
I'll put it in this little sack here and we'll be gone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think when you want to make the Mandalorian show about a Mandalorian, or at least a badass bounty hunter in that armor, you can't have it be Boba Fett.
Okay. I think you're right. That's a good point.
And just personally, I would never have made a Boba Fett show.
Right. Right.
You had a successful Mandalorian show. Great. Stop. Like, even if you had Boba Fett turn up and he wants, like, his armor back and you have this big fan moment, that's cool. You did it. You cashed in on the nostalgia. Stop.
Right. So that's part of the problem too, is why were they like, we have an incredibly successful Mandalorian show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they expected how popular it would get. And it goes nuts. And then they're like, well, we got to go ahead with this Boba Fett stuff. Like, nobody in the room was like, why? Like, we already have a really successful Mandalorian bounty hunter that everybody loves, and it's really good. Mm-hmm. Let's just skip this and do something else.
Right. I mean, if they were to make a Boba Fett show, they have to lean in that he's a bad guy. Like, make it a show about setting up, and make it like a Walter White-esque, I'm setting up a bounty or a criminal enterprise empire kind of thing.
Yes. That's another thing. So at the start of the Book of Boba Fett show, he says he's going to do that. He's like, I'm going to set up a criminal enterprise. And then by the end of the show, he's like, no drug trade in my town. I really care about these people. I want them to elect me mayor or something. And it's like, what? How did we get from crime boss to we're stopping the drug trade and we're fighting against this Pike Syndicate criminal organization solely to protect my people, not to get it over on them, not to profit from it, just to protect these people from drugs. It's like, what? Fine, whatever. You do what you want, Boba. Hey, Clark's back.
Yep. He was finally following for 10 minutes.
Hooray.
Now watch me mute him. Boop.
Yeah. I'm expecting that to happen at some point. Yeah.
I mean, so, I'm not gonna lie, I was already looking for how to do it, and I just can't work it out at the moment.
So, new theory. Ready for a new theory?
Sure.
All right. So, my theory is they had planned on doing a Rangers of the New Republic show. Okay. It's featuring what's-her-face, I can't remember her name, who got canceled for comparing vaccine-hesitant people to Jews during the Holocaust. Gina Carano.
Sure,
So Gina Carano is in the first couple seasons of The Mandalorian, right? She's a former member of the Republic, and she's kind of like freelancing, but then she gets recruited to work with the cops, right? Work with the New Republic.
Right.
And I think what they were planning on doing is putting the New Republic TV show in this slot, where Boba has been airing, and they had to cancel it because Gina Carano got canceled. And they're like, crap, we need Star Wars fans to have a reason to keep subscribing to Disney Plus, because that's their plan. That is everything. Star Wars fans always keep subscribing because they always have new content for them, right?
Right.
MCU fans, same thing. We need to keep something is always coming or always being there. We can't have a month and a half gap where there's no new content or people will unsubscribe. So they said, all right, we've shot a whole bunch of this Boba stuff. Mm-hmm. It's not done yet. We don't feel great about it, but we need to throw it out anyway. God, that makes so much sense. I'm going to tweet that theory. I think it's really smart. The money of Disney Plus made it this way.
I don't think it is. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think they're more than happy to go a month and a half without Star Wars content because they've done it before. Like there was a more than a month gap between the season 1 of The Mandalorian and season 2.
And but they had Bad Batch.
Was that? Did that come out between seasons?
I think it came between season 1 and season 2. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you're probably right. There probably was a longer gap than a month and a half.
Right.
But I think this Rangers of the New Republic thing would have been maybe a bigger gap than that. I don't know.
I mean, maybe, but I think they don't care because they can't just keep putting out content forever ad nauseum, right?
Because are you familiar with how the MCU's been working over the last decade now?
Yes, release 4 movies a year, and more often than not, 3 movies a year, right?
Right. Yep.
That's not a TV show episode every week.
No,
that's very different. Like you can do that with movies and on a certain scale, but they have stopped that. You realize that, right? That in the last 3 years, there's been 3 movies.
Well, I mean, global pandemic has something to do with that, but okay.
Sure.
So here's how the MCU has worked. January 15th, 2021, WandaVision. March 19th, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. June 9th, Loki. August 11th, What If. November 24th, Hawkeye. That is clockwork.
Okay, so what came out after that?
So there is actually a break. Moon Knight's March 30th. So that's a good 4-month break.
I mean, Moon Knight's going to be a movie, isn't it?
They're listing it as a TV show. Hang on, what does Wikipedia say? It's an upcoming television miniseries.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
How many episodes are they planning on?
It doesn't say. 6.
Oh, does it?
That's what Google's telling me.
Okay, cool. 6, fine.
Yep.
All right, so that's a break. Fair enough. I don't know. I'm really struggling to figure out why Boba Fett is the way it is.
I just assume it's just a bad TV show.
Yeah.
That's what I assume.
That's fair. Yeah. Right. Okay, cool. So Boba Fett, it ends. I'm not even going to talk about the finale. It was uneven and weird, and it really fits with the rest of what the show was. So not surprising there.
Did Luke show up?
No.
And
it's actually it's a little bit funny because at the end of the previous episode, Luke tells Baby Yoda, "Hey, you can choose to stay with me and train to be a Jedi, or you can go hang out with your Mandalorian buddy."
Right.
We don't see Baby Yoda make that choice, but at the start of the next episode, he's apparently Luke just dumped the kid in his X-Wing and was like, "R2, take him back to Tatooine." Dump him in town because the X-Wing shows up and it's just Baby Yoda in the seat of the X-Wing and R2 is back there being like, bloop, 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 bloop. Luke's not there. It's awesome. It's so funny. It's just sending you back. You don't want to be a Jedi? Fine.
So
that's what happened.
That happens in the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I had no idea.
So that's the other thing. Anyone who comes into The Mandalorian season 3 is going to be like, "Oh, I remember when Luke came and took Baby Yoda away, and it was this heartbreaking moment, and they had to separate." But and then you come back to season 2, and it's like they're back together again. It's like, what happened? You got to go watch some episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. It's like, what? I don't want to do that. I'm not here for him.
Basically, somebody realized, oh shit, Kylo Ren burnt down the Jedi Academy. We got to get Grogu out of there proactively. Turns out he doesn't want to be a Jedi. Surprise!
Exactly.
That's what that was.
That's fantastic. All right. What else is happening? Oh, so Cyberpunk was like, we're going to release a ginormous update today.
Patch
They had a
1.5.
stream. Yeah, 1.5, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Somebody was saying that the update was like 40 gigabytes.
Really?
They had Cyberpunk installed and they ran the update and it was an extra 40 gig. And I was like, wow.
So,
yeah. A lot of it is just they're giving PC features to PS5 and Xbox Series. What's it called again?
Xbox Series X.
Oh, so close. I almost got it. Xbox Series X users like, hey, we have a ray tracing now, and I'm like, well, that's been in since day one on the PC.
It's not technically only if you have an RTX graphics card, so I don't have ray tracing.
Fair point. Very specific subset of PC users. But I mean, there's a whole giant list of stuff.
It's true.
The big one, I think the interesting ones being, I guess the first one is you can buy new apartments, which people have been asking for forever. And it's hilarious because the only thing you can really spend your money on, unless you just want to go ham buying new weapons, which there's really not a reason to do that, is buying these cars that the fixers are selling you every 10 minutes. And I hate it. And I never bought any of them because they're dumb.
I bought all the dumb ones. It's like, oh, it's a one-seater, like, Korea. Like, imagine someone built a shell around a moped that you would see, like, an Uber Eats driver riding or, like, a pizza delivery moped or whatever, and someone put a shell around it. I bought that. I bought basically all the motorcycles, the moving van. Just
right.
All of the silliest stuff that I could. Like, I don't want the actual cars. Just the ones that I'm like, I'm gonna hit a rock at 45 and see where if I can get it airborne.
Yes. So I log into the game after re-downloading it, and it's like, okay, you can buy these apartments, but they cost money. And I look at my bank, and it's like, you have $650,000, and I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, I'm fine. The apartments are like 40,000, 15,000. Like, all right, well, that's not a problem.
There's one that's 5,000. Like, I'm pretty sure you shoot a guy on the street, you can find that much money in his left pocket. Don't even bother checking the right one. Yeah, it is in Watson. But
right.
Like, the most expensive one, which is in Corpo Plaza, is only 11 times that. It's 55,000.
Right.
Like, that's which not hard money.
Cheap.
Yeah, that's so cheap.
Yeah, they might have messed up on the balancing there, but
yeah,
it's kind of cool. I mean, I've got a fish tank in an apartment that I bought that has no fish in it.
Can you buy fish somewhere to put in it?
That'd be super cool, but I don't recall any of the vendors selling live fish.
That's true. Can you get dead fish to put in there?
Yeah. I mean, if they added some over like robot fish, right? Because it's Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Cyberfish, yeah.
But if they added a certain street vendor or like a store you can go to and get fish and put it in your tank, I'm gonna be blown away because I do not expect them to be capable of that at all with this game.
You're gonna be blown away by something that Mass Effect 2 was doing in like 2008.
Yes, you know why? Because this game didn't allow you to customize your appearance at all after character creation in 2021. That's why.
That's true. That is accurate.
That's here too. That's another big thing. Appearance customization. Holy smokes. And there's like new options for different makeup and hair color options and things.
Wow.
Look at them adding crazy stuff. Yeah. So also they added, like, once you finish all the jobs in an area, then the fixer calls you and is like, hey, thanks. Here's a special reward. So because I loaded a save from a game after I'd done all of the areas, it was just like, incoming text. Thanks for doing all this stuff. Here's a reward. That's over. Incoming text. Thanks for doing all the things. Here's a reward. And I'm like, all right. So this has been queued up a bit.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything else in here that you found interesting?
So I didn't read everything.
Yeah, it's a big list.
It is a big list. I did find that crowd behavior changed.
Right. That's a big
Uh,
thing, I think.
so like aggressive crowd behavior changed. Basically to make crowds more willing to enter combat with the player by provoking them. Yeah, instead of
Because
just
yeah,
running away.
because yes, because if you pull a gun in public, everybody either cowers or runs, and it's like this.
This
No
doesn't.
one's gonna try to hit you over the head with a baseball bat. Really, it's just
Yeah,
Night City.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. In a crime-ridden city, everyone is very fearful of you.
incredibly pacifist. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
They said there's improved pathfinding and despawning, so
Cool.
maybe you can't watch the same NPC walk down a street, take a left, take another left, take another left, and start the loop over again
Maybe.
for the rest of the day. Maybe.
I'm interested
They
to try the new drive model. Like,
uh-huh.
um, apparently they have all new driving mechanics to make that more immersive. Right. So
Mhm.
that'll be interesting.
I did some testing with that, and the cars are definitely less slippery.
Okay.
Like oversteering in the cars most of the time would cause you to like fishtail.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay, look, I'm not it didn't ever feel right to me.
Fair enough.
So I did some testing with that today, and yeah, it is a lot better. There's much less of that going on.
Fair enough.
Apparently you can burn out.
Yep.
Says you if you hold gas and brake, you can do donuts and stuff. I don't know,
Mm.
man. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure you can do donuts if you just gunned it and hold left. Right? Like you would just spin in a circle. It's basically a
Probably.
donut.
But you can do like the burnout and then go
Right.
like you're drag racing too.
Yes, because it's now got a simulated clutch.
Right.
Yeah.
Which probably should
Cool.
have had day one, but that's all this stuff. So hey.
Yeah. Yep.
Is there anything else? People posted some gameplay of cops chasing down some gang members,
Oh, okay.
which I don't think I'd ever seen before in either of my playthroughs. So that's new. Kind of
That
cool.
looks
Like they were just driving and this car blew past them with like dudes hanging out the window, and then a cop car went right past, and
cool.
they followed them and like had a shootout somewhere. So that's kind of nice.
I need to go
Ooh.
through and see if like because I know they rebalanced some of the perks and stuff. Did they remove the perk that lets you breathe underwater, despite there's no underwater anything ever in the game?
I don't know. I did go through and respec my character, so I looked at most of the perks, but I wasn't looking specifically to see if that one still existed because yes, worst perk ever. Leftover from when there were underwater quests apparently.
Yeah.
You can sell unused cyberware at a Ripper Dock now, which is just like again, should have been able to do that the whole time. I do remember that being like, okay, so I picked up this cyberware. What can I do with it? Nothing. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Really, really dumb.
Very dumb.
They said they improved combat AI, which I got into a couple fights. I don't know. They still seem pretty dumb. Like a couple of the enemies that I was fighting, like one of them was behind me and shooting at me, and I was like, "Where's that coming from?" And they like came around to the front. Like, this isn't sporting enough. We need to give this person a chance to shoot us. Gonna come right around to where they're pointing their gun.
This needs to be an honorable duel.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, they're not that smart, I guess.
Right. Right.
They fixed some stuff with quick hacking, which is kind of cool. Where is this? There's one of them here. I don't know which one it is, but this one's interesting. You can't use the cyber psychosis quick hack on cyber psychos anymore, which I think is fair.
That's true. Yes,
it's a good call.
Anyway,
there is a huge list of stuff in here.
True.
And yeah, so I mean, I don't know. They've been working, but again, it just feels like they're taking baby steps back to where they should have been on launch. And it's only been 14 months, and we're kind of sort of maybe wiggling our way to where this thing should have been, maybe.
Sure, maybe.
But probably not.
Yeah.
You can reject phone calls now, which is nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it used to be if somebody called you, it would ring and ring and ring and ring and ring and then answer for you. If you never chose to answer it, and you couldn't be like, no, I don't want to hear you sell me your car.
Right.
I know what you're calling for. They adjusted the boxing quest line, like the fist fight quest line.
Yeah.
They knocked down the health pools of like most of the fighters because, yes, I remember that. A bunch of the fighters required so much time to kill. They were just damage sponges for sure.
I remember a couple of them being like that, yeah.
The veteran dude, man, he took forever for me to kill.
All I can really remember is the guy who had a grenade in his face, and if you punch his face, he explodes.
Right.
Yeah,
that was a fun fight.
Yeah,
Or like a skate park or something.
Dramatically reduced the amount of loot lying around as a part of an effort to allow players more breathing room to experience quest scenes and the world itself. So you no longer have to scrounge around looking for every little last thing because they're all over the place. There's just going to be less shit to find.
Yes.
It's like, don't even bother looking. Pay attention to the quest. That's what that says.
It is. I don't know. Again, I ran around in some different areas today, and it still felt like there was so much crap around everywhere. So I didn't notice it, but again, it's been a while since I played. Almost a year, actually. So yeah, whatevs. They added water interactions. When you shoot water, it actually splashes now instead of nothing happening. Wow. Hooray! You get neon rims for your motorcycles. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
They added some poses for photo mode, and one of them's Attack on Titan.
What do you mean?
It's the salute. It's the chest. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll send it to you here. Yeah, and then some Dragon Ball Z stuff too.
Oh yeah, that's the Kamehameha. Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of fun.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. So all in all, where I'm coming from here is this has incentivized me to go back and play around for a little bit, but
not to play the game again.
No, definitely not to play the game again.
No, because why would you?
Right.
There's just no reason to.
Not really. And I don't know that there ever will be either. Again, what was sold with the whole branching life paths and choices matter, and you can do quests different ways, and that has actions down the road, like that it never materialized at all.
Not.
So
no.
Yeah.
But for that one mission it's there, it works really well.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And it makes me it really makes me feel like somebody spent 6 months on that and they showed it to management and they're like, nice. Can we make all the quests like that? And I was like, well, if we can spend 6 months on every quest, sure. You have 2 years. Go.
It's like, okay, the game will have 3 quests.
Yeah. Let me do some quick math here. Yep. That's about right. Yeah. It's super dumb.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's nice they're doing some work on it. I mean,
it's true.
I think they could have walked away, just taken all the money they got from game sales and just worked on Witcher 3 and hope people forgot about it.
Why would they go back to Witcher 3?
I mean, Witcher 4. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
They could have. I think that was an option available to them.
Yeah, I feel like CD Projekt Red liked its good reputation that it had after Witcher 3 and free DLCs and
True.
Being an upstanding company, and I think they would feel compelled to reclaim that on some level.
Yeah, on some level. But I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll never know. Alternate realities might tell us one day.
It's true, yeah.
If we can ever figure out how that multiverse stuff works. Man, speaking of, so like, I think I'm done with Cyberpunk. Are you done talking about Cyberpunk?
Yes, I think I'm done talking about a 1-year-old game.
Yeah, good call. So there was a trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness during the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Which I didn't watch. Okay, so you watched it.
Yep.
So the only thing I really am interested in is apparently Patrick Stewart is probably in the trailer. Is that accurate? Did you feel anything like that?
I have seen people talking about it on like Twitter, being like, "Look, here are some like people who might be in it. Like, here's Patrick Stewart, and oh, maybe Tom Cruise is in it." And I'm like,
did I watch a different?
Did I watch a different trailer? Because I didn't. Like, it's entirely possible that the characters that they are supposed to be playing, I just wasn't looking out for. And there is a scene, I'm going to be vague, where a character walks into a room and there's a bunch of other people like on the other side of the room looking at him. And those people are clouded in like shadows. And it could have been that there was like one guy resembled a man in a chair, like Professor Xavier would have been. I was not paying attention for that. I was just like, show me Doctor Strange doing cool magic. And I saw that. So I was happy with the trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So here's the thing. Ever since they bought Fox and acquired the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
So Disney owns the X-Men. People have been like, they're going to introduce the X-Men. Like people in WandaVision, people thought they were going to introduce the X-Men. And then there was the whole Ralph Boner thing that everybody was very mad about.
The Quicksilver guy.
That moment when Quicksilver enters the door and you're like, it's Quicksilver, but it's not, but it's what? And everyone's head exploded for like 24 hours. And then the show was like, nah, that was a good time.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm just saying, ever since then, people have been like, when are they going to introduce the X-Men to the MCU? Because they probably, gosh darn, want to. They're not just going to sit on the X-Men property. I mean, I guess they could just make their own X-Men movies and leave them independent of the Marvel stuff.
I hope that's what they do.
Yeah. I mean, that's 100% an option.
The X-Men stories always feel way too ungrounded from what we're like life today. And that was always kind of like the thing with the regular Marvel movies where it's like Earth is still Earth. Like, sure, there's Iron Man and Captain America and like the Hulk, and there are these fantastic people, but they are aliens, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's not super like Earth, but it still feels like it's supposed to be grounded. But when you say, oh, there are tens to hundreds of thousands of people developing mutant powers all over the country at any point, all over the planet, and some of them are having battles and fighting it out and raging wars across like the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels like that the level of grounded reality in individual movies can't exist. It's like the where's Spider-Man in the Hawkeye TV show, right? Like, you need to find reasons that Spider-Man is not there at the moment.
Yes.
And I feel like that is way harder when mutants are as omnipresent as they are in the X-Men movies, like especially the ones that are Wolverine focused, the most recent. Well, the only X-Men movies. I don't know, the non-animated X-Men movies, I should say.
Fair.
They make it feel like there are mutants all over the place. Like there's hundreds and thousands of them, and they're all doing their own stuff.
Yeah.
And for sure.
When there are enough mutants in the world that countries are coming up with laws on how to deal with it, then yes. Fair enough.
Yeah. Like, even if there's just enough mutants for someone to set up a school for them, I feel like there's so many of them. Like, because a school is like dozens of classrooms filled with students rather than just like the Avengers of 7 people, you know?
True, but you saw Endgame, right?
Sure.
You saw the scene when a multitude of heroes stepped out from those portals. There were many of them. It was not like 20.
There were like 25, and then everything else was like, oh, Black
Like
Panther is also a king and has his own private army. Like,
right, all the Wakandans, that counted for a lot of people.
that's most of them, right? Like, it's
That's
really only
true.
like 25 people. And some of them
Yeah.
not very useful. Like, you gotta remember that Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, okay, Drax is a guy with some knives on a battlefield. He literally brought knives to a gunfight. And
He's really strong, okay?
yeah. Right. And also there
Yeah.
was like rescuers there. It's like, okay, it's cool. Pepper Potts is flying around in her Iron Lady suit. That's nice. Not really a superhero. And like they explicitly pointed out that she basically never wears that thing any other time. So
Right.
it doesn't break anything for me when I go to like the Hawkeye TV show. I'm like, where's Pepper? Why is she not still flying around her suit? Her husband might be dead, but who cares? She could be here. Like that doesn't bother me. But when it's
Yep.
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
True.
It's like you can't invent gangs that roam around New York and then have shows like gangs of mutants and be like, oh, now we're gonna have a romp around New York. There are no mutant gangs to bother these people at all ever at any time. It's much harder for me to buy into. So I hope they keep it separate.
We will have to see.
Yeah.
So my question is, this movie was supposed to come out before No Way Home.
Was it?
Yep. And it got delayed until after No Way Home. So my question is, for MCU continuity, what was the intent here? Because Multiverse of Madness, I'm assuming the multiverse explodes and like a ton of stuff comes in from the multiverse.
Maybe.
And then No Way Home, I assume, is maybe partly supposed to deal with the fallout of that. But instead, they had to come up with a reason why the multiverse cracked for the movie, for No Way Home, right? Instead of relying on whatever Multiverse of Madness was doing. I don't know. I hope somebody explains one day what was supposed to happen here. Because I feel like they had to change a bunch of stuff to swap movies like that.
So I assume what happened was they had a cut of Doctor Strange 2 and they tested it and it didn't work super well. And so to buy them time, they rewrote it and swapped it around with Spider-Man, which probably had a much clearer vision because you can cash in on having Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. And it's like, okay, that's much easier story to write because 40% of the movie is them being bros together. And it works. And so I don't imagine you'll ever get a clear answer on what happened because they just rewrote it so it takes place in a separate way. The interesting to me is not the swapping it around with Spider-Man. It's the fact that they already had a villain lined up for this, which was, if you remember back to Strange, the first Doctor Strange movie, the other guy who's like, we can't defy the natural order or whatever. And then at the end of the movie, he leaves the Order of Wizards or whatever.
Mads Mikkelsen, yeah.
No. Oh. Mads Mikkelsen is the guy who is the villain in the first one.
Dormammu the villain of the first one?
Sure, but he takes up like Dormammu is like giving power to Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about the black guy?
Yeah. He played. All I can ever remember him is he's in Serenity.
He's so good in Serenity.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
That guy, he's supposed to be the bad guy. This one, he's going around stealing people's ability to cast magic.
Oh, his name is incredibly hard.
Yeah, which is why
that's why. Someone pronounce his name for me, please.
Send it to me in Discord so I can see it.
Okay.
Elijah 4. There you go. Done.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep. You just Mr. Elijah 4.
There's no L's in there, but good luck.
Oh, that's a J. Excuse me. Elijah 4.
A J04. Yeah.
Hold on. I need to look this up. I'm just gonna put it into Google and then add the word pronounce.
Yes, good call. There's probably a YouTube video just for this.
Yeah. Untitled 4. That is brutal.
Yep.
Chewytel. Cool. Chewytel. That's his first name.
Chewytel?
Chewytel.
All right. Chewytel.
Yeah. He's supposed to be the bad guy, and he's in the trailer. He's still running around doing stuff. So his arc is like humans are distorting the natural order by pulling in mystic powers from other planes of dimensions or whatever. And so he's going around and stopping them, but now it's a whole multiverse thing. So how does that fit into it?
Right.
Yeah.
And I've heard too that Disney's like, holy crap, we made so much money with No Way Home.
Yeah.
With all of these cameos and all of these people from other movies and stuff. Do we have to one up that in multiverse now? Like, do we need 15 cameos instead of 8, right?
I hope not.
I hope not. I hope that's not the lesson they took away from that movie.
1.8 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
That's a lot
during
of money.
A pandemic. Like, that is the most money any movie has made by far since Corona started. By so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It could be a total mess. It could be they just cram crazy amounts of cameos in there. The plot is lost as a result. They don't really spend enough time to breathe and like have the characters do stuff. And then it's like, oh, well, that was kind of a hot mess, you know?
I'm just sorry. I'm looking at Box Office Mojo.
Yeah.
Do you know what the number one box office release of 2020 was?
Of 2020?
Yeah, which was like start of the pandemic.
Right. I don't. What is it?
Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, I heard about that movie. How much did it make?
2 billion, apparently.
Really?
Apparently, that's what I'm seeing on its total gross. Is that it made $2,103,088,090. But when I look at it specifically, it says it worldwide only made $426 million.
That sounds more reasonable.
Yeah. So I don't know why the total gross for this is saying so much. Because I would believe it made $500 million, but not $2 billion.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm on Box Office Mojo and it says $426 million worldwide. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was the biggest movie of 2020, and No Way Home doubled that and more.
Yes. It tripled it.
Yeah. So I'm guarantee Disney's looking at this and saying, okay, what lessons can we learn from No Way Home? What is different about? I know, right? And it's like, it's not. I don't know. I don't think it made as much money as it did solely because like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield popped out of a portal and were like, hey. Like they work well together. There's great character moments. They develop, they build, they help each other. It's this believable thing. It's not just the Rise of Skywalker version of cameos where it's like, Wedge Antilles is in an X-Wing. He will do nothing. We'll never show him again, but by golly, he's here. So I hope that's not what it is. I hope the movie's not just like, hey, it's an alternate version of Iron Man played by Tom Cruise for 4 seconds, and now he's gone, you know? That would be kind of hilarious.
It's amazing that you picked the character people are thinking that he's gonna play.
No, I was listening to a podcast. That came
Superior Iron Man, yeah. So I saw a couple of like comic excerpts that people were like, here's some scenes about Superior Iron Man, because I've never heard of the character. And then I saw like a photo mock-up of Tom Cruise and I'm as Iron Man, and I'm like, but that could work. It's like as long as it's not like a shitty 2-second cameo, that could actually be pretty cool.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be a 4-second cameo. If you're gonna have Tom Cruise as alternate universe Iron Man, incorporate him into the story. Have him mean something. That could be amazing.
Yeah.
But when you start having 25 cameos, you run out of time to do that with everybody. And then everything turns into a cameo and it sucks.
It's true.
Like, I'm just... What they did with Lando in Rise of Skywalker, I just... They're just like, look, man, I know you're old. I know you can't really walk well anymore, but we want you in our movie. You won't have to do much.
And we'll pay you a butt ton for
it. Yeah, hug someone in a Wookiee costume. We'll put you in front of a green screen a couple times. And that'll be it. Yeah, Lando he has no emotional connection to that film at all.
No, of course not.
But he's there, but it's Lando. Anyway, I don't know. The people running the MCU seem to generally be better than the people running Star Wars right now, which is not hard, but anyway. Yeah, so Multiverse of Madness, I mean, it's like 6 months from now, isn't it?
It's like May?
That sounds like summer movie season.
Sure.
It says Bruce Campbell's in this movie. That's interesting.
Who's Bruce Campbell?
Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Who's Bruce Campbell?
Gosh dang it. Bruce Campbell.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like Bruce Campbell. He's funny. He's not like the greatest actor ever, but why is he on the cast list? Everybody else makes sense to me. I get all the rest of it.
Maybe he's playing Iron Man.
Oh my gosh, that'd be the greatest thing. So yeah, May 6th. The summer movie season is basically
winter movie season. Gotcha.
Oh, right. So start of the traditional movie season, whatever hemisphere you happen to be in, is this. Yeah.
In disappointing news, the Halo TV show on Paramount has already been greenlit for a second season.
It's not out yet.
The first season is not out yet.
And people aren't super hyped for it.
Yeah.
Okay. What? I mean, they've got a lot of confidence in it.
Well, they've got a lot of confidence in the Chevy Tahoe. That's what they've got.
Dude, that video, that last part where it can't make the jump is the best. Because it's built up the whole time because it's slower than a warthog.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, this is kind of slow. And then the jump comes up and you're like, is this going to... Nope.
So what Falcon's talking about is somebody has modded in the Chevy Tahoe into Halo 3 to do the warthog run on the Ark.
It's incredible. You have to enter through the driver's side, so every time he flips it, he has to go around. It's super good.
Yeah.
And can't survive the final jump. Just I laughed. It was funny.
Yeah. Chevy Tahoe, not a car in Australia.
I'm not surprised.
No. So I did not recognize it. I was just like, okay, there's a car. But
what American models are in Australia of anything?
Well, we have GM, but they're called Holden. And they don't make cars anymore, I think. I think they shut down.
Oh, okay. Doesn't count.
Defunct. We have Ford.
Okay. So everything Ford.
I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's all the same stuff.
So you have like Mustangs and...
Yeah, you can get Mustangs. Teslas, they're an American car manufacturer.
That is true.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I don't know any other American car manufacturers.
Nope, that's reasonable.
Yep.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings reactions. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to Lord of the Rings, but I was talking to my brother, and he said he was watching a show called White Collar on Disney Plus.
Wait, what? On Disney Plus?
Yeah, White Collar.
I watched a show called White Collar back on the USA Network like 15 years ago.
about like an art thief who's like on probation or whatever with the FBI.
Yep. It's on Disney Plus.
That's on Disney Plus. And
with Matt Bomer. Matt Bomer, great.
Yeah, that show is terrible.
It's not the greatest show. But I watched, I think, 2 seasons and I was done. I made it through 2 whole seasons.
Aki has hit the nail on the head asking, can you get a Taurus? Because there are several moments in the first season that I watched over the last weekend that is just like a 30-second ad for the for Ford Taurus.
The Ford. You know you have a good show when you have brutally in-your-face product placement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have Tauruses? Because that's kind of an older car.
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah. I don't recognize the name. Like I recognize the name because I've seen the show. But when I Google for Taurus Australia, I get Taurus cold pressed juices.
So no.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
there's 5 seasons of it.
There's 6 seasons.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure there's 6 seasons. Also, Disney Plus doesn't want me to actually watch this show. Every time I load up Disney Plus, the website, it doesn't remember that I was watching it or my place in the episode if I paused halfway through. It just I have to search for it every time. But it does know that one time I watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser, and that's there being like, hey, we know you finished this, but do you want to watch it again?
You know what it is? I bet a lot of people are rewatching it. So they're like, well, if you watched it once, you'll probably want to watch it again, right?
Maybe. Yeah. 6 seasons.
What? Who owns this show?
I don't know.
I'm going to look.
Look.
Fox owns it. Oh, but Disney owns Fox now. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Is it on my Disney Plus? I'm find out.
Maybe.
It's just I've not thought about that show in a really long time. And you were like, White Collar, on Disney Plus, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's not where you expect it.
Of course it's not on Disney Plus here. Why would it be on Disney Plus here? Why would our streaming services have the same things in both of our countries ever, Somicron, for anything?
I have no idea. But, okay, so I'm willing to bet that I have a lot of really odd stuff that you do not have then.
I believe it. Actually, the exception to this rule is Netflix original content is in every country because Netflix owns it.
Netflix made it. But do you get Scrubs on Disney Plus?
On Disney Plus? I highly doubt it. Let me see. I love Scrubs. Scrubs is good.
So good.
Wants me to watch Scuba Sam's World. Nope, that's not Scrubs Disney Plus.
It is for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Disney Plus in the States is literally Disney content. Okay, I'm going to figure this out. Stream White Collar. Hulu. Yeah. Stream Scrubs. Also Hulu. Yeah. So Hulu's got a bunch of that stuff.
So and I wonder if that maybe I've got Hulu through my Disney Plus.
Yeah, sure sounds like it.
Because I know I can't get Hulu here, so maybe they just made a deal.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that's what it is. Like Hulu will pay us a whole bunch of money to have these shows. Why put them on our own subscription service? Right. But in countries where Hulu doesn't exist, then fine, we'll just toss it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Although Scrubs is also on Amazon Prime.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, it's on both. I mean, Scrubs should be available on many places. I'm okay with that. Scrubs is great. Yeah. Scrubs is still, I think, the best show at combining humor and like serious, deep, emotional stuff. It is hard to do that.
It's true.
I think they pulled it off. Yeah. I'm not sure anyone else has. Anyway, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
So there is a trailer. And it's fine.
Hey, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that scene where there's a lady hanging off a cliff?
And it looks like 100% CGI?
Okay, thank you. I was like, that looks awful. What is this?
Like, what is it? I think it's supposed to be young Galadriel, like mountain ice climbing.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's not good. No. I didn't pick up that it was supposed to be someone like that we've known before. I was just like, why does it look like it's CG? Like,
yep.
Oh God.
Apparently, it has $1 billion production budget.
That
doesn't include the $250 million they paid for the rights to Lord of the Rings.
It's rough. That they're not going to make that money back, I think.
I really hope. Also, can we just say, elves with short hair look wrong?
I don't have a problem with it personally.
Okay,
but
well, that's good.
I think if you're going to show elves as a group, they should all be uniform. And what we know as so far is that elves have long hair, so it makes more sense for them to have long hair.
Yeah, and so in the link I just sent you, the last one is apparently of young Elrond. And
Jesus.
Him with short hair, it looks you have like it doesn't work. It's just it's like it's from a different show. And yeah, it's the pointy ears are there, so you're like elf, sure. But it's really not until the hair is doing the thing that you're like, okay, that's elven hair.
Oh my God.
That's is dying. You're supposed to be young Elrond? Yes.
Fundamentally, this character does not age. Fundamentally, you cannot recast this character. Right,
Wait.
just write a story about somebody else, for the love of God.
Are you telling me elves come into the world full grown?
No, obviously not. Maybe, I don't know, but like if you by the time they hit 18, they've hit like what they look like, right? Because Legolas looks 18 in the first Lord of the Rings movie, and that's fine because he's like 24 when the movie came out. When the movie was filmed, like Orlando Bloom was. But there's such a tiny range for this character is still to age into what we finally know him to be. Just write out the story about somebody else. Just don't make it Elrond, right?
Mm-hmm. So I mean, what they're doing here is we're telling a story that's thousands of years before Lord of the Rings, so we don't have to worry about lore consistency with stuff that happens in the original trilogy, right? Or I guess the Hobbit movies too.
Here's the thing: if this is 1,000 years before the Lord of the Rings, Elrond says in the Lord of the Rings, "I was there 3,000 years ago." He would be 2,000 in this photo. Thousands
of years.
Okay, so he had 1,000.
Yes. Sorry, no. Thousands.
Still, 3,000 years ago, he was leading armies, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he was already worked his way up the elf rank. He would have been ancient by then, right?
Yes.
How many thousands of years do you have to go back for him to be a child?
Right? Many. So here's the problem, Samacron. Here's the big overarching concept here for adapting books and comics and stuff for other mediums.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing this, if you're Amazon, you have a choice. You can either adapt this for the nerds of Lord of the Rings who have read the Silmarillion and who have questions like you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they can try to appeal to everybody and not worry about the nerds, because the nerds are a tiny subset of their audience. I think what they choose more often than not is to appeal to everybody, and the nerds don't matter as much as maybe they'd like us to.
That is the utterly opposite of what they did. Well, no, sorry, that is not the opposite. That is not in line with how the original Lord of the Rings trilogy were made. Because they made that to appeal to a broad audience, and it did.
And it did.
All the detail, there are plenty of details and little things and nice moments that all the nerdiest nerds are going to pick up on, which is why largely those movies are very well received by the core users who've read the Silmarillion twice, once in English, once in Elvish. Right?
Yes. And I agree with you, but I think they think appealing to the nerds requires more effort than it's worth. and we could make this incredibly lore consistent in every possible way, but it will take us more time and effort. And if they're ranting about it on Reddit, we don't care.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. The stories that they're writing presumably are new stories, right? Like they're not just transcribing translating from a physical, like a book, to a movie. Like they're not taking the book, the Silmarillion, to make a movie out of it, because it's not a narrative. It's not
correct.
Right, like
the Silmarillion is not a story, right?
No, it's a a dictionary. Like how do you make a movie
the Silmarillion is right? Didn't he? Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings, and he got so many people asking him for questions about the backstory and everything that he'd done that he collected all this stuff and published the Silmarillion.
I don't know for certain.
Okay, I think I read that. I've been on the Lord of the Rings subreddit a lot recently.
That would make sense, right? But so these stories are new stories. You can just write new characters. That's fine. You don't need.
Yes. No. And this is what I've been saying about Star Wars for years now, right?
Right.
Put it in the sandbox, set it 10,000 years in the future. All the Skywalkers are gone. Palpatine doesn't show up for no reason anymore. And just tell me a Star Wars story. This is what you want. Lord of the Rings.
I want to make a cut of every Star Wars movie where the final episode, Palpatine just turns up and he's the final bad guy in every show.
And somebody is saying, somehow Palpatine returned.
And they look shocked every time. Like, yeah. Oh, they're Palpatine now. They're Palpatine now.
Yeah. But yes, so I'm with you on this. Just set the Lord of the Rings movie 10,000 years in the future after Lord of the Rings with new characters. You don't have to bring anyone back from the original.
I don't think you can go 10,000 years forward into the future in Lord of the Rings. Because the end of Lord of the Rings, the elves leave for the west and magic dies out in Middle Earth, and the Age of Men comes, which is supposed to just be modern-ish history. So you're basically just like, oh, it's a now medieval show, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So you have to go back, but you can just avoid Elrond. Like, show him in the corner being like, yeah, hey, I still ruled Rivendell, 10,000 years ago. It's fine. Have him wave at the camera and then keep calm and carry on. Just do something else. For the love of God. Don't make him young.
So I don't know. We'll see. I did listen to a podcast where somebody got some advanced screeners and they watched the first 3 episodes and really enjoyed them. So
cool.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll all find out together at some point. When is this supposed to come out?
I have no idea.
The internet says September 2nd.
It's ages
away.
Why
are we worrying about this?
Yeah.
But this person's already seen the first 3 episodes.
Well, yeah.
What are they going to do for the next 9 months?
Edit. CGI.
Oh. She didn't say there was no CGI. Maybe there was no CGI.
You've seen the lady hanging off the cliff. There's lots of CGI.
No, I mean in what she saw. Maybe there was no CGI in the episodes they gave her.
Yeah, maybe they were not finished cut versions.
Right.
So not only is there Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, there is Lord of the Rings, the War for Rohirrim, an anime feature set for April 2024.
Where's that going to be? Amazon?
I assume it says it's going to be released by Warner Brothers. I assume it will be a theatrical release movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just recently announced.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I don't think there's any footage available for this because it's still 2 years out. 2 years, couple months. It's going to be April.
Okay, so that's even significantly further than The Rings of Power.
Yes, but an anime movie. I am worried.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Witcher anime thing they did on Netflix, right?
Briefly.
It was good. I thought it was really good. I think it's honestly possibly more interesting than the Witcher live action show on Netflix. Okay.
Did they do any armies in that?
Armies. Kind of.
Kind of? Okay.
Like, what are you asking for? Like number of people?
Yeah. Okay. Because Lord of the Rings did something really amazing back in like 2002, where they did not have an army of 10,000 to march upon the gates of I can't remember, Helm's Deep, right? Like they didn't actually have an army of 10,000 orcs, right? Or people dressed as orcs. So what they did was they used CGI and movie magic to copy and paste sections of film and then just made it look like there was lots of people. And it worked pretty much always because they kept it at a distance and they were very, very good at it. Anime, on the other hand, whenever they want to have lots of characters who are doing something usually next to each other and doing something similar, will use very bad 3D CG. I was watching a show yesterday where a character basically says to like her royal guards something, and then they all kneel and move at the same time. Now, they do this because it's far cheaper and easier to model one 3D character, put it on the 2D background, where all the entire show is 2D, and then copy paste, and have them do the same motion to have that effect of like lots of people doing something in unison. And it always looks shit. 100% of the time, it just looks bad. And this War for Rohirrim is going to be a Lord of the Rings style war where you have a giant like line of people doing a cavalry charge because it's Rohirrim. And I just worry they're going to save money and make it as shitty as possible.
Fair enough.
Because you don't want to hand draw 600 horses moving on frame at once. If you actually watch a lot of anime, and what you should do is use your thumb to cover up the face of whoever's speaking, and then realize that they're really only animating a mouth. Like, that's it. They're just making the mouth flap. And
100%. Yes, yeah. I've noticed this.
And so a lot of horses charging is not something they want to do.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm worried.
So I'm just trying to watch. There is a fairly large battle at the end of the Nightmare of the Wolf animated Witcher thing.
Sure.
It's looking all hand-drawn. I am not seeing any 3D animation here at all. But it's not like tens of thousands of people either. You should watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I will. We'll get to it.
Maybe it'll help you feel better about the future of this Lord of the Rings animated thing.
Maybe.
I should rewatch this. It's good. I really think it's good.
You should watch something newer and then rewatch it.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to watch it in Psycho Pass. Psycho Pass is good.
Are you nearly finished with that?
No.
Okay.
Because they have like old school 24 episode seasons like they used to do all the time. Because this is from 2012. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. It's just, I want to talk about the show that I sent you because I was like, you should watch this. Platinum End. No, I gave you a recommendation. You're just like, in one ear, out the other.
Accurate. When was this?
Like a week ago.
Did you send it to me in Discord?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Scrolling back.
It was the 10th, so you're the 9th.
You said this could be good.
Yes, because it could be. It could be good.
So much fun.
I watched the first episode. I had a reason I wanted to talk about it, not just because of the show on its own merits. And then you just never watched it. Probably because I distracted you by telling you that it was going to be an Expanse game.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But also, I remember the conversation. You said, this could be good. I just watched the first episode. And I said, awesome. Mental note. Tell me if it actually is good, and I'll give it a try. I didn't say that, but I put that in my head. So are you telling me it's good, or are you telling me it could be good still?
Oh, I'm now like 3 or 4 episodes in, and it could be good. Okay. So the reason why I started watching it is because there was a news article where an 11-year-old boy in India watched the show and then threw himself off a 12-story building.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
And the first episode's pretty fun. Well, not fun. It's pretty dark and gruesome and interesting.
Look, it's an angel waifu.
Yeah, yes, it's an angel waifu.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so basically, the main character goes to kill himself and gets saved by an angel, and she gives him some magic powers to be happy. And the magic powers he gives him is like her wings, so he can fly and go anywhere, like the freedom of movement. He can shoot red arrows, which will make anyone fall in love with him, and white arrows, which will just kill anyone that hits them.
Dang. That last one's a little questionable.
Yeah, it's a little questionable. I think the first one's much worse. It's like you can force someone to love you. That's even worse than just you can kill them, because he could have just bought a gun.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so I'm going to spoil the first episode and try to sell you on watching this show.
All right.
He lives with his uncle and his uncle's wife, and turns out the uncle and the wife had killed his parents so that they could collect insurance money and treat him as like a, I don't know, Harry Potter-esque live under the cupboard kind of live-in servant kind of working boy. Yeah. And for their own son to like bully whenever he wants. And so he goes home and uses his red arrow on the wife, and she immediately falls in love with him, agrees to tell him, and he goes, you should like just kill yourself, right? Like you could just die. It's something like that. And she loves him, so she pulls out a knife and starts cutting into her own jugular. Right? Like, yes, okay. It is
dark.
Brutal. Yeah, it is dark. And so I think in theory the show will play around with themes of whether or not it's right or wrong to use these powers. They kind of have in the coming episodes, but not as much as I would like, because there's another like plot thread that comes along about becoming God or something. So it'll be interesting. It could be good, is how I would describe it.
What do you want from me, Samacron?
Watch the damn show.
Fine.
Either that or watch Blue Period, because that was just fun.
Blue Period.
It's on Netflix.
Oh. That's easy then.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's also
Netflix 12 content.
It is Netflix. It's a Netflix original, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also only 12 episodes because it's a modern show.
So it has new dubbing. I'm not going to watch your dubbing.
No, don't watch it in dubbing.
Do I have an option for not dubbing?
Yeah, it'll default to Japanese audio. It's fine.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Well, it did for me at least.
Episode is called Awakening to the Joy of Painting.
Yeah, it's a show just about painting. Like, it's a show about a high school kid who paints. Look, it's not like some punchy show. I get it. Like, nobody's gonna throw a rocket into Mars or whatever, like a big rock.
I don't need punching. Like, Death Note doesn't have any punching. It's really interesting.
Death Note does have punching. I can find a punch in that show.
Okay, but it's not about punching.
True. Look, it's a good show. I enjoyed it. I gave it like an 8. It's fine. Okay. So we're talking about The Expanse, and this reminded me. Last night I finished watching some isekai trash about a guy who was the world's best assassin but died and gets reincarnated to assassinate the hero. Right? Like, there's a hero in the universe who's gonna like stop the demon prince or the demon lord or whatever. Typical stuff. Yes. But like the goddess of the world is like, yeah, then I've seen the future and he's gonna go crazy with power and destroy the world. So we need you to assassinate the hero. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Show starts off really good, slowly descends into shit and shitter and shitter and shitter and shit. Just awful, trashy, tropey shit. And then kind of picks up in the last episode or so. Because you know the trope where it's like kinetic weapons are just better?
Yes.
Right? Like you just take an asteroid and lob it at Earth because you're in the expanse or whatever. Yeah, he, to defeat like the final evil boss that he thinks might be the hero in the last episode, he just makes an 8-meter long tube of tungsten, sends it up into space, and then lets it come down onto the Earth. He just basically throws a big rock at it.
Done.
Yeah, kinetic. Like he has all this magic and bullshit, and he's like, no, kinetic weapons are just better. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's some smart stuff.
Yeah, it was a really interesting way to end the season, where it's like no final fight, just like him trying to talk to this guy to make him hold still, so he doesn't have to try and aim it in a hurry. It's like I predetermined where it's gonna land. I just got to get him to stand there for 3 minutes.
Pretty good.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, if you want to watch that, watch like the first 4 episodes and the last one.
Noted.
Yep.
All right, I gotta go. The kids have bedtime, so we'll wrap this thing up. But thanks everybody for listening to the podcast. Extra long episode this week. Hooray! Support the podcast.
I love that you put your hands up, but no one can see it because of the background thing. Like
they just disappear off my body.
Yeah.
I'll remember that for next time. But support the podcast at patreon.com/Somicron. You can also go to falconpaladin.store for merch stuff. And until next time, as always, thanks for hanging out with us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and above all, you take care of yourself. Goodbye. Bye.